So y'all know that I live in Georgia, right? Like, this is a thing that y'all. I'm assuming that if you're watching my channel, it's not news that I live in Georgia. Okay. So we need to cover something that happened in the Atlanta area now. And I'm not super happy about that. So, police investigate suspects' motives in Atlanta area killings. Atlanta. A white gunman was charged Wednesday with killing 8 people, most of them women of Asian descent, at 3 Atlanta area massage parlors, in an attack that sent terror through the Asian American community that's increasingly been targeted during the coronavirus pandemic. Now, if you guys didn't know, anti-Asian hate crimes have increased by nearly 150%. Now, this report is saying it's mostly in places like New York and LA, places that are densely populated and are more likely to contain areas where there's dense populations of these people. But the fact of the matter is, how many times was it said when Trump kept on saying the China virus, the Chinese virus, that kind of rhetoric would necessarily lead to an increase in hate crimes against Asian Americans? How many times was that said? And they kept on saying, like, various apologetics about how they were naming the virus off of where it came in from, where it came from. And so it was perfectly fine for them to do that. It was normal. That shouldn't be an okay thing. I mean, seriously. Seriously. Look at these. This is from a user named Kunda J. During the Texas mask mandates, this place still wanted people to use their masks when they come in. Graffiti being forced on their business. No masks! Ramen noodle flu. Hope you die. Kami. Kung flu. Oh, but no, it's okay to just keep on saying Chinese virus. China virus. Did you keep doing it? It's perfectly fine. It does not lead to any major changes in the social zeitgeist that could negatively affect Asian Americans. No. It definitely doesn't do that, right? Right? Except it does. It definitely does. And it has. So, let's go ahead and continue with this abhorrent shit. Robert Aaron Long, 21, told police that the attack was not racially motivated. He claimed that he had a sex addiction. He claimed that with authority, saying that he apparently lashed out on what he saw as sources of temptation. 6 of the victims were identified as Asian, and 7 were women. It's not racially motivated, but there is a racial stereotype of massage parlors giving happy endings if they are owned by Asian workers. But no, totally not racially motivated. This is like somebody saying that me hitting a black guy in a cotton field wasn't racially motivated. I was just upset because I had a preconception about who should be working this field. No, it's still racially motivated. You were led along by a stereotype that was definitely tied to race. The shootings appear to be at the intersection of gender-based violence, misogyny, and xenophobia, Representative Nguyen said, the first Vietnamese American to serve in Georgia House, and a frequent advocate for women and communities of color. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms said that regardless of the shooter's motivations, it's unacceptable. It's hateful and it has to stop. Authorities said that they don't know if Long ever went to the massage parlors where the shootings occurred, but that he was planning to go to Florida to plot an attack on some type of porn industry. He apparently has an issue with what he considers a sex addiction and sees these locations as something that allows him to go to these places, and it's a temptation for him, and that he wanted to eliminate that temptation. A massage parlor. That was your sexual temptation, apparently. When asked whether somebody could have sexual encounters at the business, Bottoms did not answer, saying she did not want to get into victim blaming or victim shaming here. She said police have not been to the parlors in her city beyond a minor potential theft. Sheriff Frank Reynolds says that it was too early to tell if the attack was racially motivated, but the indicators right now are that it may not be. Neither he nor Baker clarified their statements, but Baker did not return a text message seeking for more details. The attack was the 6th mass killing this year in the United States. We're only 3 months into the year. But it's the 6th mass killing in the United States and the deadliest since the August 2019 Dayton, Ohio shooting that left 9 people dead, according to a database compiled by the Associated Press, USA Today, and Northeastern University. It follows a lull in mass killings during the pandemics in 2020, which had the smallest number of such assaults in more than a decade, according to the database, which tracks mass killings defined as 4 or more dead, not including the shooter. Many suspects who commit mass shootings have a history of violence against women. The killings horrified the Asian community, which saw the shootings as an attack on them, given a recent wave of assaults that coincided with the spread of the coronavirus across the United States. Now, there are a couple things that I want to talk about before I go further into this article here. What's the stereotype we have that, like, if it's a brown person, we try to claim terrorism, but if it's a white person, we claim that they had a bad day or it was a mental health issue or what have you? How many times have we had that? Okay, cool. Now that we've at least established that this is a thing that happens, let's go ahead and talk about this.
And he was pretty much fed up and kind of at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
He was fed up. He was at the end of his rope. There's at least a layer of understanding there. Why? Why is that even there? What happens here when you use language like this, and I'll show you what happens. It's in the comment section right here. This sheriff's a hero. This is exactly what I said about the January 6th riot. We need to understand why he got to this point. Just like people on January 6th, this never-ending cycle of eating our own and endlessly demonizing and dunking on each other makes us a laughingstock. So, hold on. It's not that you're wrong, but when you try to use language like this, you are putting a lot of the onus on the victims, because this person said that their reason for doing this was because the victims here represented something negative to him. The sheriff is saying that, oh, he was at the end of his rope. That's all. This is what he did when he was at the end of his rope. Yes, we need to understand these things, but not in this context. You don't understand these things by going, maybe we need to change the way the porn industry is so we can stop such, end of their rope people from going and killing people who work in massage parlors. That's going about this all fucking backwards. Completely backwards. Remember, anti-Asian hate crimes have increased by nearly 150%, and analysis of police department statistics have revealed that the United States experienced a significant hike in anti-Asian crimes last year across major cities. The analysis released by the Center for Study of Hate and Extremism at California State University examined hate crimes in 16 of America's largest cities. It revealed that while such crimes in 2020 decreased overall by 7%, because remember, all assaults decreased during the pandemic, those targeting specifically Asian people rose by nearly 150%. This spike in hate crimes against Asian Americans, because I don't know how many times I have to say it, rhetoric that is being used specifically to target them, and there are Republicans who will try to argue out their own ass Oh no, they're not trying to target Asian Americans. They're not trying to do that. They're not trying to create that environment. And you know what? I want to believe them. I do, because I want the best in people. I want the best versions of people to come out. But when you say that, and after it being explained to you, as happened with Donald Trump, after it's explained to you that this rhetoric that you're engaging in is doing nothing but hurting those communities, and you just come up with an apologetic after apologetic after apologetic about why you should be able to use this racially charged language, why this racially charged language is perfectly fine and acceptable. Why is it that people like this, once they know, or once they've at least been informed that this kind of rhetoric leads to shit like this happening, that they continue to do it? Is it some naive, childish version of, I deserve to be able to say what I want to say? Because you need to understand that it's not just physical actions that have consequences. Lenora Lee in the chat, I've been at the end of my rope for a year now. 0 fatalities. Yeah. 0 fatalities here as well. The attacks began Tuesday evening when 5 people were shot at the Young's Asian Massage Parlor near Woodstock, Georgia, about 30 miles north of Atlanta, also about 30 miles away from me. 2 people died at the scene, and 3 were taken to the hospital where 2 died. So you know what I should say as well? Massage parlors are great, especially if you've got back pain. I don't see why you would take out all of this on them. I don't. About an hour later, police responding to a call about a robbery found 3 women dead from apparent gunshot wounds at Gold Spa, which is in a strip of tattoo parlors and strip clubs in one of the largest ungentrified holdouts in the upscale area of Atlanta. Officers then learned of a call reporting gunfire across the street at aromatherapy spa, and found another woman apparently shot dead. President Joe Biden said the FBI briefed him on the shootings and noted that Asian Americans are concerned about a rise in recent violence, a surge that he had previously condemned. He called the attack very troublesome, but was waiting for answers on the shooter's motivation. And I would say whether or not the shooter's motivation was entirely racially motivated, it's still based on a racial stereotype to begin with that led him to do that anyway. It was sexual frustration, according to him, and the connotation between massage parlors and sexual gratification being able to be had at them is an Asian stereotype. It dials back to it all the time for some reason. Over the past year, thousands of cases of abuse have been reported to anti-hate groups that track incidents against Asian Americans, and hate crimes in general are at the highest level where they are concerned in more than a decade. I don't think I need to go further into the article at this point. These shootings are disgusting. The rise in racially motivated hate crimes are disgusting. But what do we do about it? What I've seen some people doing on Twitter and Facebook is, putting a yellow square, posting a yellow square on something to try to say, hey, yeah, I stand with you. And you know what? While that might be a neat thing, just like with every other filter that's put on top of somebody's name, every other hashtag put in there, that only helps so much. It doesn't actually do anything. It's purely performative. Me as a content creator, what I do in a situation like this is I try to bring awareness to it. That's what I can do with my platform. If you don't have a platform, but you do have money, you do have options. You can go to www.advancingjustice-atlanta.org and you can make a donation to try to help activism in this area to try to lower the amount of hate crimes that do happen here. that is an option that you have. At the end of the day, just putting a yellow square up, saying, hey, I stand with you, that's not enough if people are dying. It's not. So, with that said, I will throw it on to you guys. What are we going to do about this? How are we going to handle this? What steps are you going to take going forward? My step is going to be to continue to try to raise awareness for this concern, to try to do my part as a content creator. But I want to know, what do you plan on doing? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to support what I do, well, this is not the episode to call that out. This is the episode to go here and do this. As always, everyone, insert end of video tagline.